Hey, what's going on, guys? This is Brandon, your trusted realtor, and I'm coming to you with another great episode of T is for Term. And today we're going to talk about overlays and what that means and what it means to you. When you go through the home buying process, there's lots of things and lots of different moving parts of the transaction. The word overlays relates specifically to the lending aspect, and it usually occurs in the background. You have no idea that it occurs, and you're probably not even aware of it. But the way that it impacts you is significant in the home buying process. An overlay is a requirement that your particular lender will have that is above and beyond any base or standard requirements that the federal government has. So, for example, if the federal government requires standardly for an FHA loan that you have a credit score of 620, your lender may require that you have a credit score of 650 in order for you to get the loan. The reason for this is that in the background, they have a matrix, and in that matrix, they do a lot of calculations to determine their risk tolerance. And in order to determine their risk tolerance as it relates to you as a potential home buyer, they look at a lot of different information, and based on all of the information of all the different people who are buying homes in different demographics in different places, they set a baseline or a standard that's slightly higher so that way they can mitigate their overall risk or increase their risk appetite. These overlays not only apply to things like credit score, but they apply now in a world of sometimes down payment and savings. A great example of this now is the world of COVID-19 that we live in. You found, if you been in the market and you're looking to get a property, you may find that some lenders are requiring or asking that you have 2, 3, or 4 months worth of the the mortgage payment already saved, and demonstrate that or prove that you have those monies available so that way they can have a certain level of certainty that you are quote unquote worthy to get a loan and to get into a property. So you'll ask yourself, what does that mean? In some of my earlier videos, or one of my earlier videos, I talked about cash reserves and that calculation. So go back there and watch that video and get a little bit more familiar about how cash reserves work. And that'll give you a sense of having those cash reserves is what your lender's going to be looking for. And those cash reserves are going to have to reflect at least 4 months in some instances worth of mortgage payment. The question you probably ask is, why are lenders asking for us to have this now in this COVID environment? Well, that's pretty simple. It all goes back to risk and risk tolerance. A lending institution gives this money, and they pretty much give this money essentially gratis to someone, and they say, hey, based on information you've given about us, we're going to loan you this significant amount of money. In a world where times are troubled and there's significant uncertainty in the economic environment and especially in jobs, there's more than 45 million people have filed for unemployment claims. So the level of risk goes up across the ecosystem. And because that level of risk goes up across the ecosystem, lenders especially are more risk adverse. And so they're less likely to give money in situations where they otherwise would have been apt to give money. So hopefully that gives you a little bit of clarity about overlays and what that means. The next question you may be asking yourself is, how do I know what my lender's overlays are? One really great strategy is to ask. Ask, what is the minimum credit score or requirement in order for us to get into a loan? Do you have a minimum requirement of savings or cash reserves? Check out the other video that you require in order for us to get into a property. Or partner with a realtor like myself who has connections with other lenders and who's already begun to facilitate transactions and can answer some of those questions for you. So hopefully this has been helpful to you. Remember to like, subscribe, and hit that notification button to stay tuned in and in tune to the latest and greatest tea here in the DMV. Take care, and I'll talk to you soon.